everybody, welcome back to the Bar Talk Happy Hour. I'm Odie Coyote, and you guys know that this has been a big show. I've been hyping them up the entire time here. I have a brand new artist to the Texas country music scene, and it's not without a grand introduction here, and I just want to throw him on right now. He's getting into the country music industry at age 61, and we're going to hear all about his story. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to a great friend now of mine, and we've had quite a few conversations outside of here, but give it up for Mr. Rudy. Rudy, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Odie. How are you?
I'm doing
good to be with the Coyote tonight.
With the Coyote. I had another artist not too long ago tell me that in Texas, especially South Texas, that I would just be known as Odie Coyote. It wouldn't be pronounced Coyote.
Yeah, I could go with that. There's a lot of it depends. Texas is a big state. You can go from one end to the other. You probably hear a whole different rendition of that.
And let's see, what part of Texas are you out of?
I'm just south. I'm in a town called Alvin, just south, about 30 miles south of Houston. So we're basically right between Galveston and Houston, so to speak.
Galveston and Houston. Now, about a year ago, I was down in Austin, Texas, and kind of in between there and San Marcos. Now, Houston, that's further west, right?
We're way out east. We're all
you're
way
way
out
east.
That's we're right. On the Texas Gulf Coast. So
gotcha. Okay.
You know, when the Weather Channel starts talking about hurricanes, we're the people that get by our TVs and pay attention.
Yeah, and I have an aunt actually down that way. I have to try to think where she's at these days. She's serves in the military, and we'll talk about that actually here for you. But she's Corpus Christi. There we go. Yep. So she's down there in the Corpus Christi area.
In the Navy.
Yep, she is Navy. Yep, absolutely. And yeah, so she's been out there for a number of years, and we'll talk a little bit about your military background here in just a little bit. But first of all, I talked about this in the intro, but you're 61. Right? Did I get that right? 61 years old?
Correct. Yes.
Wow. 61 years old, and you're getting into country music. Is this your first time in country music, or did you like do it previously and then come back to it?
Oh yeah, this is definitely a different branch or a different channel, so to speak. I think it all started last November, or at least recently for me, was the idea that I never had a band. And I wanted to have a band, and I'd never had time to do that. I think anybody out there that works and is a career person, and trying to balance that and being an artist of any kind, that's a lot of elephants to juggle. So once I retired, though, I'm a single dad, so I had to weigh all that. And really, my son just got to the age where I feel. He's 15 now, and I feel like, it was time that I could do this for once. But so I'm really eager. I'm 61, but I'm really eager to go about this, and I feel like a rookie.
That's all right. Sometimes I feel like a rookie, and I've been doing radio for, maybe close to 20 years or something like that by now. I think that guys like that, when you really have a passion and you're like, I'm not going to just live my life and die without doing, at least trying, an ambition that I've always had, right? And I think for that, I can't say enough to you. It's like, you know what? I might die tomorrow, but I want to live my dream today. And to do it all and still have a kid at home, that's got to be something. Now, I realize I say kid, and he's 15. He's almost grown. But what? I guess let me ask you that. What does he think about your career? Is he supportive, or is he like, Dad, you're dumb. This is lame.
Hey, my son. I love my son, Jake. He's a good kid, and we've been Poncho and Lefty for 13 years now of his life. And I actually sat down with him because I was going to wait till he graduated from high school and do this. And I just felt like it was the time. You don't, as you get older, one perspective that gets much clearer is that, time is a lot more precious when you've already went over the peak of that lifespan, and there's more behind you than ahead. So I sat down with him and I told him last November, I said, this is something I just passionately really wanted to do all my life since I was 14, maybe since I was 6, but just literally my entire life. And I just can't, kind of like how you prefaced, I can't see living this life and not pursuing that passion. And he looked at me and he just basically said, "It's okay, Dad. Just don't spend all your money."
He's got good advice, because my wife tells me the same
Yeah,
thing. When I bought this console behind me, she's like, "You're gonna make us go broke."
It is very expensive. Everybody's side of music, whether it's a radio station, recording studios, yes, I got you, and it's not cheap. So,
No.
But I tell my friends out here, I've been in music for years. I just haven't had a band. But I tell my friends, I said, I'm retired now, and I said a lot of people when they're retired buy a new set of golf clubs or a Corvette, I guess if they can afford it. I just did it a little different. I went out and bought a PA system. So I'm going to enjoy this ride as long as it is. And I'm thankful that what it is, if this is all it is, it's a great ride. I love performing out there. And if people outside of Alvin, Texas and the Houston area feel like my music connects with them, then that's a beautiful thing. I tell everybody, I don't need to be a star. I like being other people's stars. And that's why I like the starfish story. And I'm not trying to be, goofy or anything, but it's been a long standing story that's carried me for a long time. And that's about making a difference. And that's what I'm about mostly. So this is one of those kind of selfish things that I took on, and I know it's a me kind of thing, but I'm trying to do it in a dynamic way, in an open and networking way, paying it forward to things I learn along the way. There's a lot of people out here to help, a lot of young talent out this way. And I love just sharing the stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for years, I can remember looking at a big stage and seeing stars up there and telling my family, I'd say, I'd take a tambourine and go up there and play if they'd let me go up there. And, it's just like being a part of something special, a team, something I am familiar with from my career in the Army.
Yeah. And that's actually the next thing I was going to ask you about. Now, are you a career Army person? Did you do it for your entire career, or did you serve for a few years and then go and do something else?
Well, I've had multiple careers, but yeah, I was raised on a farm. So anybody that's been raised on a farm knows work starts as soon as you can start carrying a feed sack, or a bale of hay or what have you. But my professional life, really started with the Army. Yeah. And I was in 20 years. We joke about this in the military. We'll know it down to the month and day because it's on your form when you leave. But I served 20 years, 4 months, and 29 days.
So you absolutely are a career.
Yeah, I retired in 2006. So I've been retired almost 20 years now. But I did work a long time after my Army career, helping other veterans and in various veteran service organizations. And I finished up with one of the best, which was Wounded Warrior Project. And I was really proud of the work we did there with our brothers and sisters.
I definitely want to touch on that here, but real quick, since you did serve, were you on several or any active deployments? And if you were, what jobs were you on?
Yeah, I went to combat on my 30th birthday in 1993.
Ooh, this is Desert Storm, right?
No, I went to Mogadishu, Somalia.
Ah.
And I was a part of a task force. It was called Task Force Truck. And at the time, I was stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado. And I was a squad leader. I was a staff sergeant in the Army at the time. So, excuse me, I'd had like 8 years in at that time, 7, 8 years. So I had enough that, you know, I felt like I was prepared. I mean, everybody says they're prepared, but yeah, that was an interesting experience. And glad we all made it back
Yes.
alive. We had some folks some dear friends that were injured on some missions that we were on there, and I learned a lot from that experience.
Wow.
I learned that I wish I could have had my kids go over there with me for 2 weeks, because at the time I have two older kids, and I just wished at the time everybody could see um, what really starving looks like, you know. So I don't want to be a downer, but hey, I appreciate this land. I mean, the day I got home for the last time, I spent 9 years overseas out of my 20, and travel. I went all over, and I just appreciated so much just coming home. And I'm never leaving here unless I get a huge gig somewhere out of the country. But I just, there's no place better than this country, and I've been around most of the places to know that what we got so good, so
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. And God bless you. Thank you so much for your service to this country.
God
And
bless you.
I don't think you can, as an American, especially myself, I haven't served. What do they call that when you're disabled? Section 13, right? Something like that. I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know all the numbers anymore, and I've been out for 18 years.
Well, I'm
They
legally
probably
blind,
changed
so
half of those. They've changed uniforms twice since I've been out. And believe me, amongst your peers that I have that are still alive, it's a funny joke about, we do our age, so you got
yeah.
dog years, and in the Army veteran world, it's like, how many uniform changes have you seen since you've been out? And yeah.
I was 5 years old back in '93, so that should
Wow.
tell you something.
It tells the world that I'm older.
It
But hey,
does.
something I'll tell you that I do think is interesting that I tell musicians when I went through the process of building a team was I said, I'm a rookie at this, and I understand that. But I'm not a rookie to teams, and I've been in a band, and it was called a Band of Brothers. And it's really, honestly, it's a very similar dynamic. I found so many things being in a band as a team member and all that. So I found a lot of that very applicable. And I've been very fortunate to associate with some really wonderful musicians out here. And for that, I mean, you gotta love it, because I love being around music people. I mean, my whole wall's full of music. My dad played music. He had a band for 30 years. So I grew up around it, and I missed it for a long time working and raising family. But yeah, I wouldn't have done it a bit different at all. I wouldn't.
Well, thank you, Rudy, so much for that. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk about the Wounded Warrior Project that you were a part of, and we're going to be, of course, talking about your brand new to country radio single called Burn It Up, which has been a long process in the making. We'll touch on that in just a little bit. We'll be right back. Y'all keep it clicked right here to the Bar Talk Happy Hour. Welcome back, everybody, to the Bar Talk Happy Hour with segment 2 here with Rudy, who has had an amazing career. He was in the military for most of his career, for over 20 years, and went through several deployments, and we got through talking about that. And of course, this break, we're going to talk about his new single called Burn It Up, and we're also going to be talking about his work with Wounded Warriors Project and what his involvement with that is, and just share more awareness here for our military veterans, and just showing a lot of respect here this weekend, because it may not be a federal holiday for veterans, but that doesn't stop us from honoring and paying respect to our veterans, just like Rudy here. So welcome him back here to the Bar Talk Happy Hour. Rudy, thank you again so much for sticking with us and telling us about your life and your career. And I'm really excited to hear about your work and what you've been doing with the Wounded Warrior Project. So Why don't you tell us how you got involved with that, and what are some of the things that you do to help them?
Well, I actually was an employee of Wounded Warrior Project, and I got hired on there in 2014, and I served here in the Houston, an office here in Houston. So we regionally, what I did specifically was I worked with a program called Warriors to Work program, and what that program did was help empower wounded warriors to forge a new career or get back into a career, follow some kind of entrepreneurial, dream, and try to help them attain that. So it's pretty in depth and expansive, and it was very impactful. I worked with some of the most talented people I've ever worked with in my life, and every day I went to work, I didn't have to wonder what I was doing it for.
Yeah.
So it's just it was a beautiful thing.
Because that can be challenging. You come back from deployment, and it's a big difference where, in the military, they tell you when to get up. You know what your routine is every day. You do it. I think typical military work week is like 6 days a week, right? Sometimes 7, depending on where you're at. And to come back, I can imagine it takes a group of people to help these veterans recognize the gifts and talents that they have and the skills that they acquired in the military and how that can be applicable to civilian life. Was that kind of a challenge, or was there more to it, to helping these veterans, get career opportunities after deployment?
I think it's a challenge for anybody, let alone somebody coming from the military. I
Mhm.
think the military just presents itself as different challenges.
Mhm.
The enculturation of the military over a period of time, I think develops human beings into better human beings and understanding of how to work within teams, and then later on, if they're fortunate enough to stay, into how to lead, how to really provide leadership. So I think I think that's just one thing that's just, it's always there, and it's applicable to whatever you're doing and wherever you go. But at the same time, some of the language is different, and then and language being in the culture is different. So obviously, the way we communicate um, with various acronyms and the way we describe things could be totally like a different language to other people. So you have to kind of um, um, kind of deal with that and try to learn how to make adaptations um, to the civilian workforce. But there's also was a challenge of educating the employers as well. We worked with big corporations and talked to them specifically about accommodations that help disabled veterans in the workplace, which I think was awesome work. So, I could go on forever about the things that the military gave me throughout my life, my career, and what providing services to veterans as a job to follow on that career. I
Mhm.
mean, there was just no better honor.
Absolutely. And that's really cool because you gave so much already, and then you're like, I need to get back to these other bets, and here's some skills that I have that I can help, help these military veterans get back, on their feet, back into civilian society, get good careers, help them achieve the skills, go talk to these employers and show them how valuable these veterans are and how much of an asset they can be to their corporation. Um, because there's not always, I would imagine, a one-to-one transfer um, for skill sets between, let's say, somebody who was in artillery, right, or an artillery specialist, to what kind of a job somebody could do with those skills in the civilian world. Um, I
Yeah,
certainly couldn't think of that.
the relatable skills of a 2 foot long 155 millimeter round that weighs 100 pounds, toting that around is probably I mean, I guess if you were hired wanting to be a lumberjack or something, but Yeah, the transition and the transferable skills are there. You just have to bring them out, and that was part of what we did too, is really help bring out what attributes wounded warriors already had. And some of these folks, some of my brothers and sisters were severely disabled, and they were coming to me wanting to pursue their dream.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, how can you not get up every day and motivate yourself to help someone like that? I had a quadriplegic soldier from Louisiana because I helped I covered the entire state of Louisiana and about half of Texas, and there's a lot of veterans in those areas. And this was a quadriplegic, and we helped him get training so that because he wanted to learn to fly a single engine plane, and they had to do some adaptations to it, for him to be able to fly it. And we got him some flight training time. And, about a year later, he sends me a picture of him flying over New Orleans by himself on his first solo flight. And I put that on the wall and I just thought, wow,
Yeah, you
how can you
helped him.
not? Well, not just that, it was really him,
Yeah.
because we talk about empowerment. It's not about like, who, what. It's just empowering them
Mm-hmm.
to fly, give them wings or give them some wind. It's nothing about anybody could do what I do if you care enough,
Mm-hmm.
you just got to care enough.
That's
And I got to just make a discrepancy about things that are about me. I was working for Wounded Warrior Project, so that was
mm-hmm.
a job, you
Right.
know. And I like to pride myself on the work I've done outside of work when I've given my time for nothing.
And you and I
And
talked
and
about that too. You
no.
you help at least once a month or at least several times at like a memory care facility, right?
Oh yeah, I've been doing that for about 6 years. And they're like family. Yeah, it's a memory care center, Alzheimer's, dementia, and I will always tell people this if they'll hear me on this story. It's just a short one, but I'll come in there at 10:30 in the morning once a month, and they've just ate breakfast like just before I come in, and I joke with them because I know them after so many years. You see them come and go, so it's like anyway. I always joke with them, and I ask them all when they come in, "Hey, what y'all eat for breakfast?" Excuse me, and of course they didn't know. I mean, it'd be blank stare or no answer. But let me tell you, 2 minutes into playing the first song, "You Are My Sunshine," they're singing the chorus word for word. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time, and they think I'm there for them. But honestly, they're just as much there for me. And I love doing it. And, I work with the city of Alvin. I'm on their music advisory board, and I take great pride in trying to help bring music and expand music throughout Alvin you know, um, without any motive other than to help the place I call home.
hmm
So we're doing some great work on that, and I'm very proud of that as well.
I've heard that before, with memory care and that a lot of times if with patients with Alzheimer's, they may not even remember their own name after a certain time, but
Hmm.
that music and melody is one of the last things that we lose as a human that we can't remember. Music is one of those things that gets put in our mind so deep and it's so entrenched that, like you said, you can start singing "You Are My Sunshine" and it just comes out, and
Yep.
they just know it.
Every, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And to see it like that is it's like, wow. It does. It reminds me of working at Wounded Warrior Project. So it's just a cool thing to do. And I love those people. And like I said, I've seen some of them come and go, and they're like family. I mean,
Mhm.
you go around the circle and play old songs that you try to align with that demographic so you can really, touch them. And when you sing songs that come from their era, which is easy for me because I grew up with my dad who sang, and I grew up with all those songs that are memorable to that generation of people. And so it's just a blast, and working with the city is a blast. I founded an organization, just a nonprofit, not even a nonprofit, just an association in town to do like open mic shows here in Alvin in a park. And the
Mm-hmm.
city allowed us to use the park. And it's a start because it's we call it a music gathering because we don't want to characterize it by anything else, and wanted to not have it monetized because we want everybody around here in Alvin to feel like they can come bring their kids, and they don't have an expense to do it.
Yeah.
So that's been a wonderful thing, and I've been, like I said, been such a joy to be around great people, and coming into this process with meeting radio station folks, owners, program director. I mean, that's been a joy too. I mean, it's not every day a joy, and every person you ever meet's a joy. I'd be disingenuous if I said that, but I enjoy the process of meeting new people and talking about music because I do know it has a great effect on people's lives.
Absolutely. Now, transitioning into your music career now for the time we've got left here, what made you want to jump from just singing for fun or coming out of this military and serving military veterans career into singing? What was the I guess we'll call it line in the sand that you crossed that you said, no, I need to make a go of this and do this for me or do this for my family or as a passion. What was that moment for you? Can you kind of walk us through? I guess I'm trying to say this in the easiest, simplest way I can. But what was the moment that you just said, "I'm gonna go sing, and come hell or high water, I'm gonna at least make a go of this thing"?
Hmm. I think the moment was really in November last year. I just had sat down, and that's when the thought went to doing, and the work started to be done. I thought of the idea of doing it, but I really started doing it in November. I've been thinking about it for quite a while because I think anybody that sings and plays music out there, especially vocalists,
Mhm.
um, 61's not your prime age for vocals. So you sit around and you think, well, I can wait a couple more years and see what life does, or I can go out there and see where my passion takes me. And I've been writing songs since I was 14, so that was 1977. I wrote my first song.
Mm.
So music's been beside me everywhere. It's been my friend everywhere, no matter where I've been,
Wow.
you know, around the world. And music never left me. And no matter where I was, I had country music with me
Mm.
by my side.
What when did "Burn It Up" come along in this path then? How long has
That
that song been toiling around?
exactly 2004. I was driving. I was still in the Army on active duty because I
Mm.
retired 2 years after that. And I was on a mission. I was driving from my home in Alvin, and I had to go to Fort Hood, Texas. Pretty long drive.
Mhm.
So I was in my pickup truck driving to Fort Hood, Texas, and I got this "Burn It Up" inspiration, and I just kept saying "Burn it up, burn it up," and I wrote the whole song. Before I got to Fort Hood, I had the song wrote, and it's
Wow.
one of the very few times I've ever done that. I never went back, made an edit or anything. Came back home, and laid it down, and tried to see if people liked the song. I went through some of that, but I could never really commit. And musicians all know this. You have to put everything in, all in this, and you have to, I think. And I just didn't have, I was still on active duty. I mean, how do you self promote songs and your songwriting when I could get called out any minute on a mission, and not, like, and I did. I was gone all the time. Even when I was stationed in Houston for my last 3 years, I might as well have had a storage facility. But yeah, it was really hard. But the inspiration came from just knowing that you're not going to live forever. And I went to Nashville after I decided in November to start a band. I had no intentions, none, zero, of trying to promote a song of mine to radio. At that time, all I was trying to do was go record 3 of my best songs in Nashville, come back, the best band I could put together, and go out and perform and entertain people as long as I could do it. So, and it went so well in Nashville. The recordings were great. I mean, at least the level musicianship was just phenomenal. And I came back inspired, and I listened to what was on, playing, and I thought, why not me? So now I'm here, saying, why not me?
That's great. And you don't have a promoter behind you. You're doing this all yourself. So that I can speak to this because I get a lot of messages and things like that from promoters. But when you go and are doing promotion work, it is really hard. We get about 30 emails a day here at the station, and Rudy happened to just be one of them. And as a radio station, I can't play everything that I want to. Even if the song is really good, there's just not enough room. I constantly have to think about what's the audience going to enjoy. What are you guys going to want to hear on the radio? What are you guys going to want to hear during the show for the Bar Talk Happy Hour? And those are really hard choices. I can't tell you guys how much good music out there. And I'll tell you what I really liked about Rudy and what I loved about the song Burn It Up. It is a rocking, up-tempo song that just fits so well in a bar atmosphere that I'm like, it sounds that good that I feel like even after we get done featuring this song, which we have been for the past month or so now, it's still going to get in rotation on what we call our Honky Tonk Saturdays portion and the Bar Talk Happy Hour on Saturdays, and it's still going to get played because it just sounds that good. You can't help but feel excited and just, ready to burn it up, for lack of a better word, when you hear that song. So that's why we're playing it. So, Rudy, that was fantastic. Is there anything about that song? Did I capture that right, or is there something more to that song that you'd want to share?
Yeah, I tell them people it's 2 minutes and 34 seconds at 130 beats a minute, and it gets in and out of there quick. There's no fluff in that song, and I can't tell you over the past 20 years how many people have said that song was good, and I just, I think it is going to be it is a good story. And you know what? I did want to tell you that you guys at the Bar Talk Happy Hour and your station, hey, you've been super supportive, featuring a guy that just come on the scene from nowhere. And I'm so appreciative of all the stations. I mean, if I'd went into this thing thinking 7 to 9 stations were going to play my song, I would have said, really? And but I'm very grateful. And if this is as far as we run it, then that's as far as it goes. But I'm most appreciative of everything that's the graciousness of people who want to listen to it and enjoy it. And I really mean that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not Wade Bowen or Randy Rogers, and I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to be Rudy, and I think I got good songs out there, and I think you're going to hear more from me coming up. But "Burn It Up," I think, is a worthy song and shouldn't be collecting dust 20 years on a shelf. But I blew the dust off, and here it is. And we look forward to playing it out live too.
All right, last little bit of questions here, quick fire ones. When should we expect even more music from Rudy?
I have my second single is actually coming out actually pretty soon before Veterans Day, and it's a special song. It's called "Down by the River," and that was written by a fellow veteran of mine. Helped co-write that song. And it's about Arlington Cemetery and our brothers and sisters that are there. but it's not so specific to that it's just a military song. It Down by the River touches on several thoughts and feelings that we all have. And I think it's a beautiful song, and I look forward to getting it out there, especially to my veterans out there, brothers and sisters.
And then where can people catch you? Now, I got to. You probably are going to spoil it, but if you don't, I'll say where I know where one place you're going to be, or at least one group that you're opening up for. But let's let the people hear it from you. Where in the next few months can people catch you at?
We're going to be at the Brazoria County Fair in Angleton, Texas on October 12th. And we're going to be opening it up for the legendary country band, Shenandoah. And, you know, I don't know if you have to be 61 to appreciate this, but Shenandoah just has an awesome legacy of country music. And I'm looking forward to it. And I feel like a fan, you know, and I am a fan. And I'm going to look forward to meeting the band and hopefully setting them up for a great show. I know they'll do their part. And but I'm really excited about that. We're playing at a place actually at the end of this month called T-Bone Tom's in Kemah, Texas, on the Kemah Boardwalk. We're looking forward to that. And it's a beautiful place, been in business for 50 years. And we're really excited about that. But we have other shows coming up as well, and we're trying to work. Actually, we have with the Texas Country Music Awards coming up on November 9th. We're going to be there. So for the awards show, so we're hoping to have a live show set up there for some of the attendees at the awards show. But we're working on that as we speak.
And you guys don't realize how cool this is because Rudy's coming into this thing, you know, a little bit later on in life. Let's say his, you know, where he's at right now in life, way later, and the amount that he's been able to accomplish in, say, let's say last November, to already be invited to sing with Shenandoah. And just for those of my audience who may be a little younger, I guarantee you when I tell you the name of these songs, you'll know every one of them. He's singing with the band that literally wrote 2 Dozen Roses, The Moon Over Georgia, Next to You, Next to Me, Sunday in the South is another one I know. Oh, that's one of my favorites. And then also, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of it. The Church on Cumberland Road. Yes, thank you.
Oh,
I couldn't miss
man.
that one.
That
And
was good.
and you know what? How cool is that? And if we had more time, not today, but we're gonna have to invite you again because I want to hear the story on how you got to sing or how you're gonna get the opportunity to sing with Shenandoah, because that's pretty cool to do it in like less than a year in your career, and you're already getting invited to sing with some of the biggest legends in country music. Oh boy!
I know. I'm excited. Isn't that fun? And meeting you guys genuinely, the whole radio world with the Texas country music folks, you and Raven and all the work that you're doing out there. We all know on both sides that we may not know what all the work entails that we do on both sides, but we both know that it's a lot of work. And but I love it. It's a labor of love. And I've been getting up every morning with a fresh outlook on what we're doing next and where we're going from here, because really I don't even know, because it's uncharted territory. But we'll be happy with wherever we land, because I believe, you know, you give it a swing and then you land where you land.
Absolutely, amen to that. And thank you so much, Rudy. We really, really appreciate your time and your service to this country, all the work you do for our veterans and the people you take care of every day, and including your own boy. And we can't say thank you enough. You're a true patriotic hero in my mind, and I'm sure to our audience's mind. And right now, I think of no better time to play "Burn It Up" right here on the Bar Talk and Raven. Yep. And all that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back to wrap up the show in just a little bit. Keep it clicked right here, y'all.